Welcome to the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast, where it is never too early for fantasy football. My name is Jeff.
And I'm Jerome.
As always, thank you for downloading, listening, liking, and commenting on our podcast videos. Please join our community by subscribing to us on the socials. Our handle on all platforms is at N2E Fantasy. We are also available on all major podcasting apps by searching N2E Fantasy. Jerome, what do we have on today's show?
On this episode of the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast, we are going to recap Week 10. We're also going to look ahead to next Week 11. But first, we always start with league news, Jeff. There's a handful of things that went on this week. Start us off with that.
Absolutely. So the one that didn't have a game this week, because I've inserted some of the league news into the games this week. The one that didn't have a game this week because they were on bye, Joe Burrow returns to practice and is aiming to be in football games right around Thanksgiving. And do you believe that he will come back better than he does to start off seasons? Or do you believe he's coming back too soon? Or where do you think this goes with Joe Burrow?
You know, we want to be excited about Joe Burrow's return, but at the same time, Flacco's been great. He's been feeding the ball to Chase and Higgins. So I'm not sure how to feel, but at the end of the day, it's Joe Burrow, right? He was a top 5 QB preseason ranking, and I think everybody's going to be looking forward to that. Does he start off slow or does he start off hot? I actually think it could be slow. I don't know what it is about him at the start of the seasons, but I just feel like this long time period off is going to mimic, a mini off season. And I think he might actually start off slower and is it crazy to say be a downgrade compared to Joe Flacco right now?
At least fantasy-wise, right?
Fantasy-wise, yeah.
Exactly. And we care about our Chase and Higgins and even our Chase Brown shares right now. Obviously, Noah Fant will fall full off the map because Joe Burrow doesn't use his tight ends unless their last name is Gesicki. So
right. I agree. I mean, there are a couple of redraft leagues where teams dropped Joe.
I know. I saw that.
I might be trying to pick them up today.
Absolutely. I don't know if I would start him his first week back, though, from everything that we were just talking about. So, interesting conversation to be had. I have him in 2 leagues stashed on IRs, and I don't know what I'm going to do with him. I have Daniel Jones, I think, in both of them. So, it could be riding Daniel Jones for a little bit longer until I figure out what Joe Burrow is. But, anything else in league news here or that I missed?
No, that's the main things that stick out to me as of today.
Perfect. As I mentioned, week 10 here, the bye weeks were the Bengals, and then also the Cowboys, Chiefs, and Titans. So some of the high power offenses there, and then the Titans. But our first matchup on Thursday night, not a great matchup. We're kind of bookended by not great matchups this week. And the first one was the Raiders at the Broncos. We all picked the Broncos. The Broncos won, but they won a snooze fest 10-7. And the only reason they won is because of a special teams play. Their offense not off to a great start. J.K. Dobbins was the lone bright spot for Denver, but he's undergoing testing right now for a foot injury, could be placed on IR, so he could miss a minimum of 4 games, even longer if it's a foot injury. Tyler Lockett for the Raiders is leading them, which we're back to Geno and Tyler Lockett. We're like 3 years in the past at this exact moment. He has a decent game, but 63 yards and a touchdown. Not really where you want to draft a first-round pick to contribute to your team. Genty and that pick, the jury is still out a little bit on that. And we have Bo Nix struggling as of late. And normally he struggles the first 3 quarters, comes alive the 4th quarter. This particular game, he was not good in the 4th quarter as well. Do we believe, and this is more towards you, Jerome, do we believe that he is a franchise quarterback?
I think Nix has it. I think
Okay.
he has it. I think he needs maybe more time, but he's shown enough that I think there's a better than 50% shot, right? Where I could think of other QBs, maybe like a Bryce Young, who's been around a little bit longer, that I feel like has lower than a 50% shot at being the franchise QB. But the team's 8-2, right? They got a great defense, and it reminds me a little bit of those Steeler teams when Big Ben was drafted. I mean, the D was really good. Ben kind of did just enough, had some picks and whatever, but did just enough, and, they won a Super Bowl. So, until Ben got better and became, the real leader of the team and it became an offensive team, maybe that's where we are with Knicks. I don't know. Losing Dobbins is going to hurt for sure. He's definitely been great. He's been underrated. I mean, he's one of the top, I think he's top 5 rushing yards so far this season. So kind of underappreciated. And, as far as on the Raiders side, I mean, Genty's fun. Genty was exciting. Genty was the 101. Genty had this amazing college season. But I think, as you've said before, unless that top rookie running back pick is the last piece, then you're just putting you're drafting a running back on a poor team, and the stats just might not be there. So I think that's where we're at with Genty.
Putting a Band-Aid on a major wound, basically. And Pete Carroll hasn't been it this year, and there's talks that he could be one and done in Vegas because the performance that he's put forward is worse than last year. And he brought his own quarterback over, gave up a 3rd-round pick for it, and he's made all the moves that have gotten the franchise to this point. So we will see. That'll be an interesting topic going forward. Don't expect a mid-season firing for him, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. Broncos could always use a running back, like a guy, but right now they're going to roll with RJ Harvey, their rookie, and they're going to roll with Tyler Bidet that's behind him. But one person that's not being talked about that I kind of liked in the past is Jaleel McLaughlin. And I'm wondering if he should be a waiver pickup, especially if J.K. Dobbins goes on IR this week, like just as a bench stash, because we know that he's produced when given attempts.
Yeah, that's a good call on Jaleel. I'm surprised he's just totally disappeared from
Inactive.
this backfield.
Mm-hmm.
Even with adding Harvey. I mean, but he's potentially a good player. He might just take some snaps off of Harvey. I mean, Harvey's exciting. He's been making some plays in some games. So I mean, the idea of getting him more plays is exciting. I compare that to Travion Henderson, another rookie who I feel like hasn't really gotten a ton of shots, ton of touches per game, but they up his snap count, they up his touches. Next thing you know, he just starts making things happen. Maybe just needs to get in a rhythm and increase his chances.
Exactly. But while we hop over to the next game here, the Falcons at the Colts, one person that's not struggling for touches here, Jonathan Taylor, who goes 32 touches, 244 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the ground. The Colts do win a nail-biter here in Berlin, 31-25 in overtime. So I was sweating it a little bit. This was my survivor pick of the week. This is who I actually went with. All 3 of us did pick the Colts. The Colts, as I just mentioned, won. And Penix had a good first half, then faded into the second. He was very errant with his throws. Tyler Algier takes the 2 touchdowns in the backfield and leaves Bijan with none. So that's an interesting stat right there. And Drake London stays hot with going over the century mark as well. Any takes that I missed on this game here?
Yeah, on the Falcons side, I mean, Penix only had 12 completions this game, which, I mean, the fact that we got a good game out of London feels like a miracle when the QB only has 12 completions. I feel like at the beginning of the season, I mean, just felt like Bijan was really getting peppered with catches. He was actually almost like a better receiver than he was a rusher from like a fantasy perspective. And then I don't know where that went. I mean, it just seems to have like disappeared a little bit. And now, your touchdowns vultured from Algier on top of it. And it's like, ugh, just looks a little ugly. As for the Colts, I mean, what do you say about Jonathan Taylor? I mean, it's really unbelievable. He's already got 1,100 yards rushing. Second place, I think, is James Cook in like the 900s. And then after that, I mean, everybody else is at like 700. I mean, so he's essentially like 400 more yards than
Right.
basically everybody else um, in only 10 games. I mean, it's really unbelievable what he's doing. I mean, and thank goodness. I mean, because Daniel Jones has had a couple weeks now where I feel like he's, I mean, he's got 10 turnovers in the last two games. I mean, that's something happened here that needs fixed. Tyler Warren, I mean, the guy's a stud. I mean, he had 10 catches, and I think his blocking is excellent, and I think that maybe is not talked about as much with regards to Taylor's success. Um, Taylor is having this type of season, and it happens to be after Warren was put on the field. I mean, you think of him as like a pass catcher, you think of him as like an inline guy, or an out, like being out wide, but he's an inline guy and he really does it all. He's just fantastic. The last thing that I wanted to mention on the Colts was the addition of Sauce Gardner. This was his first game with the new team. He went up against London, and I mean, London had a great game, right? So I feel like we said last week, I mean, it was a huge haul for the Colts to pay for Sauce. I mean, Sauce has the name, he has the reputation, but he really hasn't been a top tier corner for the past two seasons. And he's going to have to, start to play better to really make the Colts feel like they did the right thing.
Do we still believe the Colts are the best team in the AFC?
I would say, I mean, who are we comparing them to, right? So they're 8-2.
Mm-hmm.
Denver's 8-2.
Yep, I think they're better than Denver because they beat them already.
They're better than Denver.
They
I
better
think
than
there's
KC?
and I think there's another 8-2 maybe, but
New England?
New England's 8-2. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Colts are better than New England. I think the Colts, I mean, Buffalo just lost. I mean, it's an upside down kind of year in the AFC right now.
Absolutely. AFC is top heavy, that's for sure. I think some of the better teams like the Chiefs and the Bills and the Ravens haven't gotten rolling yet, and they will get rolling as the season goes on. And maybe some of the younger, inexperienced teams like the Broncos, Patriots, and Colts will fade as the season goes as well. So a lot of interesting storylines to look out. I think I've named 6 of who I believe will be playoff teams right now. And then I also believe the last playoff team will be the Chargers, but the health will be their biggest enemy. So we'll see where that goes for them. Anything else on this matchup?
No, nothing else.
Awesome. We got the Purple Bowl here between the Ravens and the Vikings. All three of us picked the Ravens. The Ravens hold on to the lead late, 27-19. And Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry did not have very productive days, unfortunately. And so that was disappointing from that perspective. Luckily, they were facing JJ McCarthy, who actually Jalen Naylor was his favorite target, going 5 for 124 and a touchdown. And Addison and Jefferson had double-digit targets each, and they ended up in the 30s for yards. That is not good. That is not efficient. This is on the rookie quarterback, in my opinion, here. And McCarthy was shakiest when it counted most on that fourth quarter come from behind 2-minute drive. And he just couldn't get it done. So I know I'm being harsh on him, but do you have any other take on McCarthy on that?
I mean, I'm anti-McCarthy at this exact moment. It's why I picked the Ravens to win the game. It's going to be inconsistent, right? I mean, you're going to get these Addison, Jefferson type of inefficient games from him and from the offense as a whole. I mean, the defense has been very good. Flores is very good. But even in a game like this, I mean, the Ravens have Lamar back. And I mean, Lamar didn't do much, right? 17 and a touchdown. I mean, kind of a game manager-y type of game. I mean, I felt like he had that last week too. I mean, I said on the pod last week, I mean, I felt like he game managed his way to just like 4 touchdowns and they scored 28 points and they won. This felt like the same thing, just without the stats for Lamar. Henry had 20 carries. I mean, I feel like that's where he needs to be, even though there wasn't any touchdowns involved on this one for him. But even Henry with under 4 yards per carry, I just feel like this is where we're at with him as we're getting close to the cliff.
Yeah, hopefully better days are ahead. I don't think Lamar's running right now because he's still coming back from that injury, not running as much, I should say. So offense could look very different in 4 weeks as he regains full health as well. Full disclosure on that. Anything else on this Purple Bowl?
No, nothing else.
All right, let's move on to the upset of the day. Bills at the Dolphins. All three of us picked the Bills. As I had mentioned, the Dolphins stunned and dominated the Bills in this one 2-13. And Josh Allen has an okay fantasy day despite the loss. Bills are lacking that alpha weapon. I know we talked offline about that. Rumor is they tried for Jalen Waddle at the deadline, and the Dolphins rebuffed them. So there's that. And speaking of Waddle, he had a solid day. He had 7 targets, 5 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown. But it was Devon Achane that had the best day here. And it was on the ground, 22 carries, 174 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I have been on record of saying that he may be one of the league winners this year, and he has not disproven that so far. So he's a guy that performs weekly and a guy that you want to set and forget in the lineups, which is really nice at the running back position.
You know, you think Achane could be a league winner. I feel like Waddle could be the league winner. I feel like Waddle is the guy that had like no value at the beginning of the season. You know, if you were smart, you maybe traded for him, bought low, but he's been excellent too as the centerpiece of this passing offense with Tyreek gone and also Darren Waller gone, who was taking some touchdowns away. So, but just a stunning win for the Dolphins. I mean, I don't know what team we're getting with the Dolphins when they play.
What
Same
about
could be said
Buffalo?
for Buffalo. I was going to say same could be said for the Steelers, right?
Yep.
You know, the Josh Allen. I mean, I think Josh Allen's just man. I mean, he threw for 300 yards, but I just feel like he's just doesn't have the weapons. I mean, this pass catching group isn't great. I mean, Kincaid is now hurt with a hammy. That could be week to week. I don't know. I guess we gotta see what happens this week. But I mean, and Cook, you know, the offense has become Allen and Cook, which I feel like, you know, that running game can be sustainable and give them wins now as they enter cold weather. But, you know, Cook fumbled in the red zone with one of those punch outs. I mean, those punch outs seems to be like the new popular way for defenders to cause a turnover. I mean, I think there was one in the Rams game too, and there was probably more. I just caught both of them. Both punches were used. So, I mean, that's the difference, right? I mean, you lose the turnover battle, and even some team like the Dolphins could beat a team like the Bills.
Yeah, and back in the day, it used to be called the Peanut Punch for Charles Peanut Tillman. So it's making a comeback all these years later, but it still works. It's tried and true, and it's working for the Dolphins right now, who have won 2 out of 3, and they could make an argument that they played better than the Ravens most of the game the week before. So they're heading onto a game against the Commanders. That's a very winnable game. Do you have any opinion change on Mike McDaniel here? Because this is an epic turnaround mid-season here, considering that he almost lost the team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I feel like McDaniel knows what he's doing. I think he deserves a little bit of credit that this turnaround has happened without guys like Tyreek, without guys like Waller. I mean, but they are still only 3-7. So I could see at the end of the day, you know, if this is a 4-win or a 5-win team. I mean, the Commanders, they're 3-7 as well, and they've lost 5 straight. So, I mean, if Miami's a 4-win or a 5-win team, I mean, I still don't think that's enough to keep McDaniel's job.
That's a fair point. So we'll see where that ends up. All right, we ready to hop over to the Browns at the Jets here. This was supposed to be a defensive battle. All three of us picked the Browns thinking the Jets sold off the farm. There's no possible way they could win. We get 47 points in this game, and the Jets win 27-20. It was Dylan Gabriel who was okay on the day. He probably has a little grasp on the job. Are we still looking for Shador Sanders at some point this year, though?
I'm not looking for Shador, but the whole thing is just I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss how a first round guy with a first round grade goes into the fifth, and then he's even the second QB that the Browns drafted in that draft, and he's still not getting a shot, right? I mean, Gabriel, and I feel like Gabriel's doing okay. I mean, I feel like he's game managing. I don't feel like they're losing games because of Gabriel. I mean, it's a team that is built to have the defense win the game and Gabriel to do just enough.
Absolutely. On the Jets side, Breece Hall did eclipse 100 yards. Fields does not throwing. You think he got like 64 yards throwing. And no Jets pass catcher other than Breece Hall got over 4 receiving yards. So we are in craziness territory here with the Jets at the quarterback position.
Yeah, for anybody who owns Justin Fields in fantasy, we missed our chance to trade high after his start to the season because I mean he's lost weapon. I mean he's lost weapons, right? I mean I don't even know who he's passing to right now, but still, I mean he had 54 yards passing and 42 were on the Breece touchdown pass, which was a pass behind the line of scrimmage. That was a catch and run for 42 yards. So I mean he's not even connecting past the line of scrimmage. It's really shocking that this guy is still starting. But yeah, the Jets used 2 special teams touchdowns to get it done. And we talked about the Jets. I mean, the Jets got their second win of the season. There's only one team left in the NFL with only one win, which is the Titans. There was actually 2 teams this week to get their second win of the season. The Jets were one and the Saints were the other. So you're seeing some of the bottom feeder teams find a way to win here mid-season.
Absolutely. But I don't think either of those teams are going to the playoffs. I think they're both going to pick in the top 5 of drafts this year. So that could be a big loss by the Browns here, as they could potentially get their quarterback of the future because of the Jets' victory here.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move over to the Jaguars at the Texans. Alex and I picked the Texans. You picked the Jaguars. Texans pull the comeback miracle with Davis Mills and win 36-29. I think this is the most points that the Texans have put up all season. And Trevor Lawrence was unable to lead the game tying or the go ahead drive at the end. So that is concerning, considering he's a paid quarterback. Should be a little bit more successful than he was. Jacoby Myers leads the wide receivers in yards in his debut, which is interesting because we were missing Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, who we did find out is on season-ending IR because he had season-ending surgery of his LCL. So his ACL is intact, as was reported earlier, but his LCL was not, and he had to undergo surgery for it. But on the Texans side, as I mentioned, Mills was solid in his spot start. Started the first 3 quarters shaky. He had a little bit of Bo Nix syndrome here. 4th quarter looked great. Woody Marks outsnapped Chubb, so the switch might be on there, and scores the touchdown. Nico Collins has one of his best 2025 days, and it's interesting that was with Davis Mills. And I think that is about it that I have on this game. What do you have there, Jerome?
Yeah, I picked the Jags to win, even though I'm not a Trevor Lawrence believer, but I was mainly betting that the Jags D is pretty good, and so was the Texans. But I thought the Jags D was pretty good, and I just thought Davis Mills, was going to be a step down, and he really wasn't. I mean, he stepped up. He arguably, like you said, from a point scored perspective, He produced more yards for the Texans than Stroud ever did this season and produced a big game for Nico Collins, which I feel like we've all been waiting for all season. He deserves some credit. I mean, if this is what we're going to get, I hope Stroud stays out. As for as for Jacoby Myers, I mean, I had a feeling that Jacoby was going to be the one. I know I said it last week. I just don't know who else was going to catch the ball. But Parker Washington was good
with his big boy touchdown.
Yeah, Parker was really good. I mean, he was a hot waiver wire ad this week, and he delivered. So I mean, that's cool to see. But with Hunter being out, BTJ, I don't know, just not there yet. I think Myers is the guy to own.
Absolutely. So you did mention Parker Washington, and I need to mention his touchdown, which was a big boy touchdown in the back of the end zone where he got both feet down. Somehow we saw a few catches this weekend like that, some in college and some in the pros. So always love a good catch. Saw Diggs with a good catch also, which we're gonna hop to his game next here. Anything else to wrap up the Texans and the Jaguars?
Yeah, last thing, Britton Strange is supposed to be on his way back and from a quad, I think. So that could be another piece of the puzzle in Jacksonville that could help unlock the offense and help Trevor Lawrence.
Absolutely. And he might be the missing piece because I feel like Lawrence took a little step back when he didn't have the tight end option to throw to. All right. Patriots at Buccaneers are next up. And we all picked the Buccaneers at home, but the Patriots hold on late in this one, 28-23. May has an up and down day. I will say Vrabel had a very good day because his coaching at the end of the half that resulted in points and left no time was very clutch, and he double dipped because I believe they got a field goal coming out of the half as well. So that was a 10-point swing right there. And they won by 5. So they could have lost by 5 without his coaching there. And you have Henderson's coming out party, which you had mentioned a little bit earlier, and he went 14 carries, 147 yards, so about 10 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. So with Stevenson in the shadows coming back, it'll be interesting to see how the two pieces fit together going forward. Is there going to be a split? Is Henderson going to be the lead now? And they're stuck together probably for the next 2 to 3 seasons. So it's not like this is going to be a quick fix. They're both going to be thorns in each other's side, no matter who the lead back is. My buddy here, Mac Hollins, was the one this week going over 100 yards. And I've talked about him lots of times. I feel like the Bills could use him right now. He had a really good connection with Josh Allen, and they let him walk to sign Josh Palmer, who's been injured. So here he does well. Speaking of former Bill, Stephon Diggs does well here. He scores that amazing toe-tapping touchdown in the end of the first half. Ibuka here for the Buccaneers continues to be the number one with Evans and Godwin out. When will we get Evans and Godwin again? Godwin's taking a little bit longer to come back than we thought, but Evans could be returning towards the end of the year as well. And Baker tries to put the team on his back and just can't get it done. The injuries are just starting to mount up too much. Bucky Irving returned to practice this week, but we don't know if he's going to play this week. So there's just a lot of what ifs with the Buccaneers right now. What if they were healthy?
Yeah, I mean, the Bucks were so exciting to watch at the beginning of the season. Baker, everybody was talking about Baker, but it's calmed down a little bit. Injuries have just added up. And even a guy like Baker, who really seems to have become just a great leader and a great quarterback, just didn't have enough. I mean, they've got no running game right now. Rashad White had a poor game. I mean, they're bringing Sean Tucker in. Sean's not doing much either. It's just hard to be one-dimensional and injured and think you're going to, beat a team like the Patriots they got a good defense too, and the offense is keeping the pressure on. So they're a very well-rounded team. As far as the Patriots go, Diggs has a touchdown in 3 straight games. I wanted to highlight that. I mean, he seems to be catching on after all this, Keyshawn Booty hype and stuff like that. I mean, Booty's obviously been hurt, but it's nice to see Diggs. I feel like the touchdowns are now following snap share and following what feels like who should be the one. Touchdowns are following who should be the one. And Henderson, yeah, I mean, Henderson, like I said earlier, I just feel like he's a guy that needs reps and he's going to start popping these big plays. A small sample size maybe just doesn't give him a chance to pop the big play, and the small sample size with no big play just looks poor. I feel like this backfield should start to move to 60-40 Henderson. I think the Texans should do that too with Woody Marks and Chubb. I mean, I feel like it's the same. The Patriots could just add a new dimension to their offense and really make it hard for teams to defend.
Yeah, I am excited to see where they go. I don't know if they could keep up with the Buccaneers if they're fully healthy here. So they still have questions. They're still young, and Diggs really does bring a dimension to the team here. So we will see if they can keep it up. All right. One team that could not keep it up this week was the Carolina Panthers as they dropped 17-7 to the New Orleans Saints. And Tyler Shuck does have a mini breakout in this game, but all three of us picked the Panthers. This was another popular survivor pick. Unfortunately, people had to go home for this one here. And because of Shuck, he threw for 282 yards and 2 touchdowns. And we have Kamara have his best game in a month or more. And Olave with 104 yards, Juwan Johnson with 92 yards, and they both eat and score a touchdown. So that is pretty big. Rico Dowdle got bottled up in this one, and Young can't throw for more than 124 yards. And I don't know if anyone has seen the video or the reel that I had posted, but is it time for Carolina to move off Bryce Young with his 5th-year option looming? And I kind of broke that down in video form. And what do you believe that the Panthers here should do with Bryce Young as he's entering the time period to activate his 5th-year option?
I think it's time to move on. But, they're 5-5 right now. And all that excitement of Dowdle and some of those wins they ripped off, was great. But, if they're thinking about a new QB, they're not in a position to have a great pick as it stands right now. So, I think that's going to make that harder. But Bryce has been a question mark since day one with his size and all that, and it's just not worked. Now they bring in Canales, who was like a whisperer for Baker in Tampa Bay. And there's spots, there's signs, but the consistency isn't there. They had McMillan. But even that, the supporting cast isn't great. It's not all on Bryce. The supporting cast isn't great. McMillan is a rookie. Leggett doesn't got it, but Hubbard had it and lost it. So there's not a lot there for Bryce to get some help. But, I did pick the Panthers. I was betting against Shuck, and, he proved us wrong. He had a great game. Olave and Juwan Johnson had good games, but there were really no one else on the team to catch the ball after Shaheed was traded. So you could see things funneling to them. Kamara, I feel like Kamara's done too. Kamara's done. Henry's done. They're getting touches, but they're averaging less than 4 yards per carry, and it's just not happening. But it was still enough to get the Saints a win in this game.
Absolutely. I guess the Saints need to turn a question to if Shuck is the guy for the future, and I think this was a good step forward. So better than anything that I've seen out of Bryce so far. So that's interesting right there in its own right. And I think the Panthers are winning on the ground, hiding Bryce. And my post breaks that down a little bit more. But if they decline his 5th-year option, which I don't think that he has done enough to get the money that a 5th-year option gives, and what I believe is it fractures the relationship when you don't pick up the 5th-year option, because after that you have to decide whether to extend him for big quarterback money or give him a bridge deal, which why would a good quarterback accept a bridge deal? And the last option is the franchise tag, and what quarterback wants to play on the franchise tag? So
Yeah,
that's where the fracture.
It's going to put them in a tough spot. It's going to put the Panthers in a tough spot. They're going to have to make a tough decision. But I just don't see how you bet on Bryce. I mean, while the 5th-year option is a lot, it is still only 1 year. And in its own right, it's kind of like the franchise tag from the team's perspective. So maybe they still do that. I don't know. I mean, maybe they trade for Kyler Murray. Maybe they like short QBs there. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else from this game? Very low scoring as well. All right. We had our comeback game of the week here. The Giants at the Bears. We all picked the Bears. We all won because the Bears won after Jackson Dart is knocked out with a concussion. They won 24-20. Jackson Dart scores both of his touchdowns on the ground before being knocked out of the game. And I think I read somewhere that this was his 3rd or 4th check this season for a concussion, which there's some questions about how that protocol was followed. So what we expect something to come out about that as well. And I just don't know if his play style is meant for longevity. Like, is he heading down the Tua path right now? Like, I know he's more talented arm wise, but how he takes care of his body is kind of reminiscent of how Tua was taking care of his body to begin his career. And we know that Tua is very different now than he was 3 years ago, like especially like leadership wise, press conference wise. We have to wonder if these hits are taking a toll on him. So that's something to keep an eye on. After this game, and this is kind of what I want to spend a little bit of time on after I'm done with the game here, but Brian Daboll was fired. So the head coach for the Giants gone. Mike Kafka got moved up to interim head coach, which everyone knows how I feel about interim head coaches. They're never the guy. This is a new system that Jackson Dart has to learn. Not really fair because he's going to be learning his 3rd system next year with a new coach, most likely. But before we hop into the Brian Daboll of it all, Caleb Williams does just enough to win this game late. Swift out-touches Monangai, but Monangai does score in this game, so it'll be interesting to see if we ride the hot hand or where we go with this split. Both are worth owning. Both are worth starting in a pinch. I think Swift is going to become less and less valuable as the season goes on, and Monangai is going to become more and more valuable as the season goes on. And Rome Odunze, whose dad was complaining in the media, rebounds with a 10-target day. He ends up with 6 catches, 86 yards, and a touchdown. So he factors very heavily into their plans. But before you break down any more of the game here, how are we feeling about Brian Daboll being fired?
I was surprised, just like everybody else. I like Daboll. I think the offense and Jackson Dart success should be credited to Daboll. I mean, Dart was Daboll's guy. I mean, there was a report or something about how the GM wasn't sold on Jackson Dart, and this is who Daboll wanted, and they went with it, and it feels like they hit it. They hit the pick, which is so hard to do. They hit the pick and then say goodbye to the coach. Push that button. So that was surprising, but who knows what the Giants have in store. I mean, even with the surprising change now to maybe Jameis replacing or filling in for Dart instead of Russell Wilson, I find interesting. I mean, the whole thing is just like, I don't know what is going on over there at the Giants facility.
Me either. And here's a conspiracy theory for you, because we know that Daboll's good with quarterbacks. Did they keep Daboll on the staff to pick their next quarterback and then get rid of Daboll? Is that a possibility as well? Like, because we know that he's done well with Josh Allen and now Jackson Dart when he gets a choice of a quarterback. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, if the guy's good at picking them and developing them, you would think you'd want them to stay around, but maybe there was more issues behind the scenes. Well, it appears there was more issues behind the scenes.
Absolutely. And the GM let Barkley go for free and paid Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones needed a Barkley. He has Jonathan Taylor now, and you could see how successful he is with an elite run game. And they kind of cut his training wheels off, for lack of a better phrase, right now. And this was all the GM's decision. So we're in this spot because of the GM also.
Yep, nope, I agree.
Anything else that you noticed from this game here?
My only disagreement with you was on Swift. I don't think that Monangai is going to take this backfield over. This game, Swift had over 60% of the snaps. He had the carries, he had the yards. I mean, he didn't score that touchdown, but I just feel like touchdowns are so hard to predict that a lot of those other metrics really need to be focused on. I mean, Swift averaged over 4 or over 6 yards per carry in this game. I know Monangai looked good, but I feel like Swift has looked good too. And I'm just not sure they're going to take Swift off the field just yet.
Yeah, I think that he'll be the passing down back at the very least. So there is that. But I think Monangai has proven that he's the goal line back now, which could potentially be the more valuable of the two roles, depending on how many times they're at the goal line. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Interesting things to watch going forward. Anything from the Giants side of the ball here?
No, not much really from the Giants side of the ball. I mean, it just overall was a down game, I feel like, for pretty much everybody there.
Disagree there. Right, let's hop over to the Cardinals at the Seahawks. We're on the late games now. And all three late games featured a 40 to 20 something score. So these weren't the best of games in the afternoon. The first one here, Alex and I picked the Seahawks. Don't pick the Cardinals. Seahawks make easy week of the Cardinals, doubling them up 44 to 22. Jacoby Brissett comes. I had to pause there because I just said Jacoby Myers a little while ago. So Jacoby Brissett comes back down to earth, but puts up decent fantasy numbers. Mercado leads the backfield for the Cardinals in yards. I still would stay away from that backfield going forward because Bam Knight led it in carries. And then we have Trey McBride as the only pass catcher worth the start for the Cardinals. And that's even more so true because Marvin Harrison Jr. had surgery and he's going to miss this week and maybe a little bit more. So he's going to be iffy for the rest of the year because I think some of his core muscle strength is going to be hampered with the surgery. And hopefully he can come back and be close to 100% as possible. But McBride is the only must start on this offense, including the quarterback. So there's that. And then we switch over to the Seahawks side. And unfortunately, a lot of people probably started Sam Darnold because he's off to a hot start. He's in the MVP conversation. Darnold has a 10 for 12 day, forgettable fantasy performance, but 44 points from the Seahawks. I can see why he didn't throw the ball that much. Zach Charbonnet leads the backfield in yards and scores in this one. So Walker and Charbonnet, we've mentioned before that they need to score to be usable, especially with the split. JSN does not go over the century mark in this one, but he does keep scoring fantasy points, 5 catches, 93 yards, and a touchdown. Anything that you notice, especially in this game here?
You know, the running back room for the Seahawks, I mean, it just continues to be just a big pile of confusion. I think Walker's the best running back. I feel like I've said that since day one. It's just not happening in fantasy. I mean, even if he's getting carries in between the 20s and all that, and he's got a good yards per carry, I mean, this being a split backfield is really just not helping anyone. I mean, I would love to see Walker get a chance inside the red zone and have a game with a touchdown, but it's just not happening. You know, as far as the Cardinals go, I mean, I think DeMercado, I think he is an ad. I feel like there is no doubt anybody with the naked eye could watch this game and think that he's the guy with the burst He's the guy that can make something happen. Even a couple of weeks ago when he had that fumble at the goal line, it was like a 72-yard run that he fumbled, into the end zone. Bam just doesn't do that. I mean, we all want Benson to return, but there's no sign that he's close to returning. There's been nothing mentioned at all that it's even close. I mean, his 21-day window can be opened, and it hasn't been yet. So I think DeMercado should be considered an ad. And until further notice.
All right, let's see if he can get more of that backfield share, though, because that's what I need to feel a little bit more comfortable. And Trey Benson's return is looming at some point here.
Oh, the part that I forgot to mention, though, is Bam, I think, got hurt with an ankle. So that's something to monitor. I feel like if that lingers, then DeMercado arrow is pointing up.
Absolutely. Just got to keep an eye on Trey Benson. So we'll see if he comes back and can contribute to this backfield. All right. So we can hop over to the Lions at the Commanders next. All three of us picked the Lions. Same score as the last one. The Lions double up the Commanders 44-22. So we take the W, all three of us in that one. Gibbs blows up in this one, 142-2 on the ground, so 142 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Montgomery has just as many carries, but half as productive. Is his wall coming? That is a fantasy question and a roster question going forward for the Lions. And Jamison Williams' game here, 6 catches, 119 yards and a touchdown. This is very rare sighting here to see a JMO game here. And Mariota was respectable in his start, but the Commander season's likely over at this point. And they even have even more injuries right now, so not very good for them. I think McLaurin's not traveling. Daniels isn't traveling to their international game next. They don't have a run game going right now, and that's part of the problem, like a consistent run game. I know Chris Rodriguez did score the touchdown, but they need some ball control in order to win games here with a backup quarterback. And Treylon Burks leads the Commanders in receiving yards in this game, and I know you had said that he's pretty much toast and done, but he does lead them here. Unfortunately, he had surgery on his fingers, I believe, and will miss some time and won't be traveling as well to Spain, I believe, is the next game. Mm-hmm. What's your take here?
Just because Treylon Burks is your top weapon doesn't make him a weapon. Okay, I think that it's really an indictment to the Commanders and how they've just lost guy after guy. Even in the run game, Bill came back to earth a little bit, and this team has lost 5 straight. So, I mean, the lone bright spot I feel like has been Mariota. I mean, the fact that he has been pretty good and his running ability has kept him fantasy relevant. And, that's been good to see. I almost wonder if Mariota's maybe earning a chance to start somewhere next year. Maybe he could be a bridge somewhere next year. But I don't know. He does seem like the perfect fit to be a backup behind Daniels. And if the Commanders feel like Daniels has, potential injury history, they could want to spend more to have one of the top backups that plays a similar style with running the ball. So that's where I'm at with the Commanders. I mean, what do you say about the Lions? I mean, they're just amazing on offense. Gibbs ended up scoring 3. He caught a touchdown in addition to the 2 rushing touchdowns. St. Brown scored. Jamison Williams scored. I mean, you just want to have as many shares of that team as you can, because they're just fun to watch, and they seemingly do it to any opponent.
Absolutely, and they have a big matchup next week against the Eagles that we'll break down in a little while, so be on the lookout for that one. Anything else that you learned about the Commanders or the Lions in this one?
No, that's it.
All right. So next game here has some of my more lengthy notes, so try to get through this as quickly as possible. The Rams at the 49ers. Alex and I picked the Rams. Jerome picked the 49ers. Another late blowout. The Rams beat the 49ers 42-26. Stafford with a 4-touchdown game here. He has to be an MVP candidate at this point. Maybe for the first time in his career, too. So we'll see if that actually happens. Kyron Williams cooked in this one with 14 carries, 73 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Devonta Adams was injured in this one, but hopefully not too serious. They may have taken him out as a precautionary measure due to the large lead. And then we hop over to the 49ers side of the ball here of Mac Jones. He went 33 for 39, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He played very well in this game despite losing, and the run game was completely stuffed, and that was the difference in this game here. Christian McCaffrey had 30 yards on the ground. Interestingly enough, Brian Robinson Jr. had 41 yards and a touchdown on the grounds. Is it CMC? Is it the backups were playing against Brian Robinson Jr.? That's to be determined going forward. Kittle begins to catch fire here as he gets healthier as the season goes on. He missed the 4 out of the first 5 games. And here's the question for you, Jerome. Do you leave a healthier performing quarterback like Mac Jones in, or switch to a quarterback like Brock Purdy, who the coach admitted will not be 100% with his toe injury this year?
So it feels like Shanahan is going to stick with the hot hand, which is Mac Jones. I kind of compare it to the Cardinals and how they are sticking with Brissett, even though I do think it's a little different. But it's interesting that the QB who's getting paid all the money could be left on the bench and could not be, guaranteed his spot back as a starter as soon as he's healthy. Maybe they play the "you're not 100% healthy" card, and that's why he doesn't get a starting spot back. Mac Jones is another QB who is maybe earning a spot, a chance to be a starter somewhere else next year. I don't know. I mean, the same could be said with the Niners, and maybe Purdy gets hurt a couple times now, and maybe they want a good backup too. So, maybe he stays. But the Niners, I mean, this is CMC's team, and the Rams have a great D line, a good defense, and ultimately stopped CMC from making it happen, and ended up winning the game. Stafford is the first QB in the history of the NFL to have a 4-touchdown, 0-interception game for 3 straight games. Really just crazy stuff here. I mean, he's had 21 touchdowns with no interceptions. He's on a streak of 21-0 right now, which is, I mean, I do think it makes him an MVP candidate. I think the part that needs considered here is that the Rams are fighting the Seahawks for the division. Both teams are 7-2 right now. And I don't think that Stafford would be an MVP candidate if his team doesn't even win the division. But who's he really against? I mean, who's he really against? I mean, is he against Jonathan Taylor? Which, it's not often a running back wins that award. So, I mean, could Stafford still end up being the best, QB for an award that seems, to go to QBs? That's probably one of the big questions.
Yeah, you got Drake May too out there, so he's got to be in the conversation early on. And out of the NFC, there isn't somebody that sticks out to me on the Eagles or the Lions right now that would be eligible for the MVP award. Baker, if they can turn it around, turn the ship around, get the pun there, he would have to be in the conversation, but because he would be overcoming so many obstacles with the running back injuries and the receiver injuries. So we'll have to see if they can overcome enough for it to happen. All right. Anything else on this game? I know it was a lot. The last 2 games I don't have a ton on, so.
No, that's all I've got.
All right. We got the Steelers at the Chargers. Next game here. Jerome and Alex went the Steelers. I went the Chargers. Steelers pass game fell dead in this one, and the Chargers win 25-10. Aaron Rodgers does have a forgettable day at the office, and Jaylen Warren was their lone bright spot. And I believe in the news or in press conferences, they have leaked out that they want to get Warren more touches. I'm not sure a guy like Warren benefits from more touches, just due to his running style and size and all that. Keeping him limited touches in the open is preferable. Keep him healthy. And we have Herbert looking good in this one. He actually gets one of his favorite Lad McConkeys involved in this one with a 100-yard game. And Vidal was the bell cow in this one, 95 yards on 25 carries as we await for Hampton to return from IR. Now that they're on their fourth running back for the year, they had Harris go down, they had Hampton go down, and they had Haskins go down. So doesn't matter who runs in this team, it feels like. But QJ led the team in targets, not in yards in this one. So QJ was the one that they were looking at the most, but couldn't convert a lot of those right now. So what were your takeaways here? I know you're local to the Steelers, so you might have a different take than I do.
I feel like Warren should get the ball more. I mean, I was even just checking here. His snap share was 46% this game, which was his lowest snap percentage since week 1. That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I feel like he's this offensive spark. He feels like the spark. He feels like the guy who produces when he touches the ball. And I don't know. I mean, he's averaging, 5 yards per carry or whatever, but he doesn't get a ton of rushes. He doesn't get a ton of receptions either. I mean, he feels like the guy that Rodgers would find for, 5 catches a game or something. It's not happening. He's getting like 2 catches a game. So that part it doesn't add up. I mean, the Steelers just in general, I mean, they're such a paradox. Like, I have no idea who's going to show up. I have no idea if it's going to be 4 touchdown pass Rodgers or if it's going to be the good defense or the bad defense. I mean, this team just shut down the Colts, and then I don't know. I feel like they look awful this game. For the Chargers, I mean, the big thing that sticks out to me overall is Lad McConkey. I feel like he could be like the league winner in fantasy this year. I feel like he's similar to Waddle, where he just was so bad at the beginning of the season. It was QJ that was hot. It was Keenan that was hot. You had like 1 catch games from McConkey. Everybody was like, "What's up? This doesn't make any sense." And then, all of a sudden, now I feel like he's the guy. And he's become the guy with actually less snap share. I actually was looking at that. He was playing over 90% of the snaps the first 5 games of the season. The last 5 games of the season, he's only been playing 70% of the snaps. So I feel like it's even, you want to talk about paradox. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. But when he's on the field, he's running routes and he's getting looks and he's starting to produce. And that can't be said for like the Keenans and the QJs. So, McConkey it's nice to see him producing. I feel like he was the guy that we all wanted to produce in the offseason.
Don't disagree with that, and we'll see if it continues, because it seems like earlier in the season, teams knew how to take that away. We will see if they are still taking that away after this matchup. All right, now we have our Monday night game here, another 10-7 game. Alex picked the Eagles. We picked the Packers, and a scoreless first half result in an Eagles 10-7 victory, and Alex takes the win on this one. We have a scoreless first half, as I had mentioned, and Barkley and Jacobs didn't have great first half numbers. Barkley's not having a great first half of 2025 overall. In this one, he went 22 carries for 60 yards, so they're not even getting the yards per carry over 3 at this point, and that's concerning. They did have a really bad false start on a tush-push play in this one, so that's not really helping their cause for the offseason. I believe it should be banned because I don't know how you even measure where the ball is when a knee is down or anything like that. So it's too scrummy, too rugby for me, and that was really hard to say. And we have a few notable takes here. We had AJ Brown with I think 3 or 4 targets in this game and only like less than 25 yards. So Devonta Smith appears to be taking over as the number 1 for the Eagles, and Love and the Packers offense is regressing. They were regressing even with Tucker Kraft in there. Do they need someone like a Jaden Reed to come back, who is reportedly practicing off to the side?
So while the Packers offense has been regressing, I do think this is more of about the Eagles having a good defense. Packers have a good defense too. I mean, both defenses made both offenses look bad. But I think the Packers are just, I mean, they're just losing too many weapons. It's like every game somebody gets hurt. I mean, I'm pretty sure Dobbs got hurt in this game. I mean, who's left? I mean, this is like a war of attrition, it feels like, for some of these teams in the NFL. Jacobs, he's hanging in there with that calf. I feel like every time he runs the ball, I cringe a little, like I'm worried for him that something's going to happen, but knock on wood, I'm not saying it too loud. Nothing's happened yet. He's been good. He's got 6 straight games with a touchdown. For the Eagles, I don't think Devonta's becoming the one. I think that this offense, when they pass it so few times, it's, there's only like one guy that's going to be the guy. And sometimes it's an AJ game, and sometimes it's a Goddard game, and sometimes it's a Barkley game, and sometimes it's a Devonta game. And I feel like that's just the way it's going to be, and you're never going to know who it's going to be. And that makes it tough for us as fantasy managers who've got to know when to start certain people. But, I mean, Hurts only had 15 completions this game. So, I mean, you're not feeding all these weapons with 15 completions.
Absolutely, which makes everyone wonder if they can repeat. So their offense hasn't been good this year.
Yeah, no. Though I will say on the tush push, I don't think it should be banned. I mean, I don't understand how the referees couldn't call a false start. I mean, this is now like a couple of games, right? That there's been a false start that's not been called. I don't understand how the refs don't call that. I mean, some of the false starts they call, like where of the offensive lineman, just like hitches a little bit, and they call that. I mean, even I can't see that, but they see that. I mean, that's their job. How they don't see this on the tush push, I don't I don't see how the tush push play matters for a false start. I mean, I get it; it's scrummy in there, but I don't understand how that's not seen. How you can't see guys moving forward before the snap of the ball. I mean, I feel like the issue with the tush push is the push itself, right? And it's not stoppable, and that's the part that feels rugby and feels weird. But I think the tush push should stay. I mean, I feel like teams just should stop it, and if they can't, I mean, that's their problem.
I agree. This year has been less successful for the tush push for the Eagles, so I don't know if teams are finding a way to stop it or what's exactly going on there. But my biggest thing is, how do you tell where the ball is? Like, under a heap of humanity, and how do you tell when the knee was down? Like, that feels impossible to me, but that's
I think
the impossible part.
I think that's part of the design, right? Is that, like, in theory, the offensive linemen are laying on the ground. Hurts, uses his momentum for as long as he can while his feet are on the ground, and then the push helps him move forward even when his feet aren't on the ground, but his knees aren't on the turf either, right? His knees are on a lineman.
Surfing.
The fumble from a week or two ago, the Hurts fumble that was taken away because the ref stated that he had lost forward momentum. I mean, I thought that, you talk about not seeing the ball and having a hard time making a call. I mean, I could, that is a potential issue with the play and calling the play. But I mean, in theory, that could go for any QB sneak, at the line or in the end zone. I mean, you just can't see, and the cameras can't get you the angle.
Yeah, I don't fully agree with that, just from the standpoint of, yes, they blew the whistle too early and probably cost the Giants that game, honestly, because that was a big momentum shifter. They've spotted it wrong, like with the Buffalo Bills last year with Josh Allen. I firmly believe that he got the first down and they didn't spot it a first down. And theoretically, with the ball having the chip in it to know how exactly where it was, that should help that in theory. But man, they need some help here on this play.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. All right, so that ends our week 10 talk. We can hop over to week 11, where we only have two teams on bye. We have the Colts and the Saints on bye, so not a lot of players that we need to get out of lineups, but I do have a couple teams that have both Jonathan Taylor and Alvin Kamara on it, so I'll be without them this week. So you got to get your Chris Olaves and your Michael Pittmans and Daniel Jones out of the lineup, but the first matchup here is a Thursday night matchup. We have the Jets at the Patriots, and Alex sent over his picks to us, and Alex is going the Patriots for this one. And I think that this is possible for an upset because the Patriots have been riding high. Jets are discounted at this exact moment. I would probably start Tyrod Taylor if he's healthy in this one, if I was Aaron Glenn, but we'll see if that's the case. Jerome, who are you taking in this one?
I think the Patriots is the easy pick here. I just don't see how you can like anything else, especially with them at home.
Absolutely. Divisional matchup, though, always iffy. So, especially on a short week. And we don't know if weather will play a factor into it. Already snowing up north here, so could it be a weather game as well? Something to keep an eye on. Next matchup here is in Spain. It's our last international game of the international series, and we have the Commanders at the Dolphins. And for me personally, I don't know how I can't take the Dolphins in this one, given all the injuries of the Commanders and the lack of weapons that they have. Who are you taking, Jerome?
I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins too. I thought about the Commanders on this one, but I agree. I think the injuries are just still going to be an issue for them. I think Deron Payne is out too from that punch to St. Brown. So he's probably out for the D. So I'd say go Dolphins.
Yeah, that'll be 3 of 4 then. So just when you think they're down and out and give up for the season, they rattle off 3 wins out of 4 games, costing themselves a really good pick, that's for sure. But maybe saving McDaniel's job. So right. And Alex is picking the Dolphins, so make that 2 for 2 on the sweeps. Next up, we have the Panthers at the Falcons. Earlier this year, the Panthers beat them 31-0. So shutout on that one. For this matchup, Alex is going the Falcons, and I also have to go the Falcons just due to Carolina has a formula where they're beatable.
Yeah, the Panthers seem to be losing their luster a little bit. Dowdle had a down game. He can't run for 200 every time. So I say go with the Falcons.
Absolutely. Falcons can be run on a little bit, as we saw with Jonathan Taylor last week. It's not out of the realm of possibility of getting a 200 double day here. All right. Next one up, we have the Bears at the Vikings. And I think for this matchup here, this is going to be a very close matchup, I believe. I'm going to go the Vikings at home, and Alex is going to be going the Bears on the road. So you can be the tiebreaker on this one here.
Well, I'm sorry to say, I'm going to agree with you on the Vikings. I think that I'm just not a believer on the Bears. I just don't think they've got it right now. I don't think Caleb is the guy, even though he's put up some good stats recently. So I'll take the Vikings.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit of fool's gold. So we will see what that looks like going forward. But that's our first difference of the week with Alex. So good times. All right, next one here is the Bengals at the Steelers. Last time they played, I think Flacco and Rodgers combined for 7 passing touchdown. This one here, a little bit colder weather, could result in a little bit different of a result. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will produce a little bit more on defense in this one, which is something that they've lacked a little bit this year. And Alex is going the Steelers in this matchup, and I'm also going to go the Steelers in this matchup.
I'm going to pick the Bengals. I mean, the Steelers are good at home. The crowd is one of the best, but there's just something not right with the Steelers. I mean, they did just sign Asante Samuel as a defensive back. I don't know. It's just not a good sign. Something's just not right with this team, with this defense. I can't even make sense of it. I just think that the wide receivers on the Bengals are just going to pull them to victory.
All right. We have a game here where the Packers are at the Giants next, and we have Jameis Winston starting this game. And I'm going to go the Giants in this game because I think Jamison Williams can produce enough offense that the Packers can't produce right now.
That's fair. I'm a Jameis guy. I like Jameis, but I'm going with the Packers here because I think our boy Jameis is going to throw at least one pick six. You know it. You know it's coming.
He'll throw 2 picks and 2 touchdowns. So it's can Green Bay get the other 2 touchdowns to win the game?
Yeah. I think they can. So I'm going Packers.
All right. But I think Jamison throwing the ball up, there's going to be one wide receiver that's fantasy relevant in this one, and that'll be interesting. Alex is also going the Packers in this matchup. Next up is the Texans at the Titans. Alex is going the Texans. We did find out recently that CJ Stroud is still in concussion protocol, and this looks like another Davis Mills game. Doesn't change the outcome for me. This game is in consideration for my lock/survivor of the week. I'm going to go the Texans in this matchup.
I'm going the Texans too. I mean, it is at home for Tennessee, which maybe means something. I don't know, but I'm picking the Texans.
Yeah, my thought is how does Cam Ward move the ball on that defense? That's what I can't figure out. And I think Davis Mills can move the ball on the Titans. They might only score 20 points, but they might win 20-3 or 20-6.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it could be a low
there.
score, but I think I trust Davis Mills moving the ball against the Titans versus Cam Ward moving the ball versus the Texans. I think that young quarterback is in for a day at the office.
Yeah.
All right. We have the Chargers at the Jaguars, which feels like both teams are pretty banged up, but this should be a pretty even matchup here. And Alex is going the Chargers, and I'm also going the Chargers in this one. Who do you have, Jerome?
This is a matchup of my 2 least favorite $50 million QBs. Unfortunately, I am forced to pick one to lead their team to victory, and I think it's going to be the Chargers.
Right. We can hop over to another injury bowl of the Buccaneers at the Bills. And in this matchup, Alex is going the Bills. I'm going the Bills, and I'm going the Bills because it's going to be cold, for one, which Baker's okay in the cold. So let's not justify that. But Tampa overall is a warm weather team, and they're down to just Ibuka, and I don't know if they're going to be able to put up a ton of points. And Buffalo plays good teams better. So they played the Chiefs better than they played the Dolphins. Seems like they played to their competition. So give me the Bills in this one. Who do you have?
Yeah, I know both teams lost last week, but I do feel like this is more of a get right for Buffalo. I feel like Buffalo is going to be more ticked off after last week and their loss to the Dolphins. And I think they take it out on the Bucs.
Yeah, and I don't feel like the Buccaneers have the urgency that the Bills have right now because of the division that they play in. So they're not like looking over their shoulder. Are the Falcons coming up? Are the Panthers coming up? Are the Saints coming? Like, they got this division. They don't have that urgency of we need wins because I don't think they're looking at the number 1 seed. All right. Seahawks at the Rams are up next. And in this matchup, I am going the Rams at home. Who do you have there, Jerome?
I mean, we just talked about the division and Stafford for MVP and it coming down to these 2 teams potentially. I mean, the Niners are in the mix too, but these guys definitely seem to be the class of the NFC West right now. And I'm going to go the Rams. The Rams are at home, though Devontae, I think, is battling something. So that could hurt. but
Probably
I'm going to
60
go.
40.
I'm still going to go the Rams. I'm going to go the Rams because I believe in Stafford more than I believe in.
Okay. All right. So that brings us to our next NFC West matchup of the Niners at the Cardinals. And in this matchup here, Alex is going the 49ers. I'm going the 49ers. And you are going, Jerome?
I'm going the Niners too. I mean, Brissett still does have McBride to throw to. I mean, Harrison's out, but I just feel like the Niners could focus on trying to minimize McBride as much as possible and let Greg Dorsch beat them, right? Or not
Michael
beat them,
Wilson.
right? Michael Wilson. And, let CMC and Jennings and Kittle do their thing. And I think that's going to be the difference.
All right. That's a clean sweep there of the Niners. And we are left with the Ravens at the Browns. I think this game will be much lower scoring than we think it will be because I think the Browns defense will show up, play the Ravens tough. Don't think the Browns offense will be able to get much going against the Ravens, however. So I'm going to go the Ravens in this matchup, but keep it close. Who do you got there, Jerome?
I'm going to go the Ravens too. I mean, they've got the firepower, and I think that's going to be the difference. Even if Lamar is not quite who we know who he is on the field, and game manages. I could see him game managing his way to another 28-10 type of win.
All right, make it a clean sweep as Alex also takes the Ravens. Now we're down to the last 3 games of the week. The first one here is the Chiefs at the Broncos. And Alex is going the Chiefs in this one. I'm going the Chiefs as well. Are you taking the division leading Broncos or the Chiefs?
I'm taking the Chiefs. I think off the bye week, they're going to come back healthier. They're going to come back ready. I think that extra week makes a big deal for a guy like Andy Reid and Mahomes. And I think they figure out a way to put points up against the Broncos defense.
All right, make it another sweep. And I don't know if the Broncos can put up points on the Chiefs. All right. So we have an interesting matchup here on Sunday night. We have the Lions at the second week in a row in a primetime game, the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't like the Eagles offense at all, and I like the Lions offense. So I'm going to go the Lions in this one because I believe that they can score points, and I don't believe the Eagles can.
This is a tough one. I'm going to pick the Eagles in this game. Okay. Not because I want to, but I just feel like this is the kind of game where we get focused on the Lions and their offense, but the Eagles show up at home and they find a way to win.
Fair enough. And Alex is going the Lions in this one as well. So you are the lone wolf here, which didn't work out last week, but could work out this week. So just because it doesn't work out last week doesn't mean it won't work out this week.
Yeah, I've got a track record. Anytime I'm the lone wolf of the 3 picks, I pick the loser.
Well, at least we have a trend. All right. So Monday Night Football here is the Cowboys at the Raiders. And Alex is going the Cowboys in this matchup. And I have to as well because I don't know if the Raiders can keep up score with the Cowboys in this one.
I'm really excited for this game from the Cowboys' perspective. I think the Cowboys are going to win, and coming off the bye, I just would love to see like 50 points. I just would love to see, Javonte with a couple, Lamb with a couple, Pickens, Ferguson. I mean, I just would love to see them just pepper points all over the place and make it a fun game to watch.
All the points in this one. It could be very high scoring. Who are you taking in this one?
I'm taking the Cowboys.
Man, that got us through the week 11 slate. I cannot believe we're entering week 11. Anything else that you would like to add here before we end our show?
No, I think that does it for another episode of the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast. I want to thank everybody for downloading or listening to this episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please leave us a comment and share the show. Every little bit helps.
You can find us on all podcasting apps by searching N2E Fantasy and with our handle at N2E Fantasy on all social media platforms. Please join our community and give us a follow. Until next time, take care of yourselves and remember, it's truly never too early for fantasy football. Thank you again. Bye, everybody.